right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Goose Creek Retrievers. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
I am currently engaged in a battle royale with a fly. One little fly keeps buzzing me, and he's about to meet his maker.
It's a shit-eating fly.
That's exactly what it is, and he's hungry.
With us today,
Get that COVID out of your lungs, Jeff.
Oh, my God.
Get that COVID out of your lungs.
from Martin County, Florida, in Indiantown, Trapper Mike, Mr. Python Cowboy. How are you doing, sir?
Good, good. How are y'all doing? Thanks for having me on.
We're excited to have you. Like we were talking about earlier, we were talking to Nick and Duncan, and I don't even remember how it came up, but they mentioned this crazy guy from the Everglades of Florida just running around, catching shit, shooting stuff, and I said, we got to have him on. He's our cup of tea.
Heck yeah, for sure.
So we were just looking at your video. You wrestled a 17-foot, 7-inch, 135-pound python. What the hell is it like getting your hands on something that big? Because it's got to be strong as hell.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, the snake is solid muscle. To give you, a perspective, I'm 135 pounds.
Okay.
Everyone, for some reason, everyone thinks I'm this big guy down here in South Florida. 5'10", 135 pounds, this snake, solid muscle. I'm not solid muscle. For me, dude, that's what it's all about. Every time, especially when I'm snake hunting, I'm down there, I'm looking for that monster. I'm looking for, as big as I can get. That's what's going to get people's eyes. That's what's going to, go viral and stuff like that. But it's not why I'm doing it by any means. I don't want to give that off. Since a little kid, man, I've had pet reptiles, snakes, all kinds of stuff. For me to interact with a snake that big, something that exotic, and, you would never think you see in Florida is literally a childhood dream come true for me. The excitement, the battle, and just seeing how this snake moves is really what it's all about for me. Big snakes bring in big money. So
You've got 151,000 followers on Instagram. Is that right? You're verified. How the hell do you get verified on Instagram?
dude, I have no idea how I've gotten here, to be honest with you. I really, really don't. I started this 3 years ago because I made the news for rescuing an alligator from a python. I wasn't using social media, nothing like that. I just going out doing my job. And I actually took a guy out for a guided hunt. He got on video, me saving an alligator from a python, and it went viral, made the news. It was actually the third time I've done it, but the first time I've actually gotten it on video. And the owner of Flow Grown reached out to me, a clothing brand here in Florida. And he's like, dude, I made you an Instagram. Start using social media. I promise you it'll be life-changing. I'm going to send you a bunch of clothes. I'll be your first sponsor, blah, blah, blah. And just kind of grew from there. And I got verified actually by a follower. I think he manages like Skrillex or like Chance the Rapper and all these like big names. And we just got bullshitting on Instagram. He actually sent me like a case full of wine, some whiskey, some like all kinds of stuff. I guess he's got a bunch of different companies. And he got me verified. So it was kind of crazy. One day, I applied for it weeks before nothing was happening. I reached out to him and I was like, hey man, you know anything about getting verified? Fucking next day I was verified.
Got the blue check mark.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you track down animals that aren't native to Florida. Is that correct? In the gist of it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. I do some, I do hunt some natives here and there, like deer and all that. But the main scope of my work is hunting and removing invasives. Yep.
A 17-foot python. How old was that thing?
It's really hard to say being in the wild, but it's not crazy to think that snake's 15 to 20 years old or older.
How big will they get?
About that size.
So it was maxed out probably.
Yeah. I'm out there every day looking for that 20-footer, but the largest that's ever been caught in Florida is just under 19 foot. It actually was caught right after I caught mine, which was the record.
Now it's so 17-7 is your personal record then.
Yes, sir.
How often do you see? I've never been to the Everglades before in my life, and doesn't sound like I want to go there because I'm not a real big snake person, anyways. And it's like going to Australia. It seems like everything out there can fucking kill you, so I try to stay away from that stuff. How often do you see pythons? Is it that common?
No. If you're not out hunting for them, it's going to be very rare for you to come across them. They're a very cryptic animal. They're good at hiding. They don't really show themselves often. And you really got to be out there looking for them. In fact, before I started hunting for them for the state, I really thought it was kind of a bunch of state bullshit. You know, FWC, they definitely like their funding and they make sure they get it. And I thought it was one of those things where they're hyping up a problem more than it really is, trying to get that funding and attention. And you know, it wasn't until I really started hunting them, especially at night. Going out in the middle of the night, bright lights on my truck, and cruising these levees that stretch out into the Everglades. It wasn't until I started hitting those for 8-12 hours in a night that I started picking them up left and right. You won't really catch them if you're going out there like you're hunting a deer, like you're hunting a hog, walking around through the swamp. You're not going to find them like that, and that's what a lot of people think. And you know, there's bass fishermen down there that go out every weekend. And they're like, oh, we've never seen a python, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're not going to see one. You're out there in the middle of the day bass fishing in this thick vegetation. It's going to be impossible to see one. And I think more and more as we're showing all this on Instagram and TV, people are kind of learning it.
What led to this? Was it a captive? How did the first python, because they're invasive. So was it in captivity and then it got loose? How did this whole thing start?
Let go.
Yeah, so you know, there's always been a lot of rumors around the pythons. Essentially, what it comes down to is the exotic reptile trade. People having these pets, them getting too large, them letting them go, or them even just releasing them, you know, or escaping. I mean, from their enclosures. These things are escape artists, and they're very good at getting out and disappearing. Another rumor that floats around is that there was a big breeding facility down in the Everglades along the border that during Hurricane Andrew got destroyed, and all these pythons got loose and got out. But the facility has never been identified. They've never really named one specifically, so that's not really so concrete. I think what it is more than anything is a lot of these old school reptile breeders that used to sell these Burmese pythons. That was their money crop. They would sell thousands every week. I think some of those guys intentionally released them out in the Everglades to kind of start farming them so they didn't have to import them anymore. And I don't think it really worked out the way they hoped, but that's where I suspect it's kind of come from.
Now, what do you do, like that 17-footer? What did you do with it once you caught it?
Well, you know, I was by myself when I caught this thing out on an island in the Everglades with my little 14-foot John boat. I caught the snake alive. The snake bit me, spraying blood everywhere. It got a couple main veins coming off my artery, and I lost a good amount of blood. My main thing was just not trying to black out, so I was really trying to not overly exert myself. After I battled with this snake, it's a limp noodle. It's cold-blooded. It's totally wiped out, but it's a 135-pound limp noodle, and I got to drag this joker all the way back to my boat to put a bullet in its head. I don't keep my gun right on my side. Most of the snakes I come across, I'm not going to even need to shoot them, you know. So drag it all the way back to my boat, which was a good little deals away. And my main thing is just, you know, I wasn't trying to black out. It's 100 degrees. If I black out, this snake's probably going to wrap around me and finish me off. So got it back to the boat, shot it in the head. And then from there, it's getting it back to my ranch where I process it. And that's a whole nother battle. Pulling a skin off a almost 18-foot snake is not easy. I actually use my truck or my four-wheeler to help me pull it off. And once I get it off, I flesh all the meat, get the skin tanned. I get the skull done. Usually I get them articulated, but On that snake, I actually got it freeze dried because it bit me.
Holy shit! Look at the fucking teeth in that.
In the motion of it biting me there. And this is the actual head of the snake that bit me here.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hell
Look
no.
at the teeth.
It's a good one.
Holy mackerel.
And you can hear that they actually got two rows of teeth at the bottom, and their jaw here separates so they could swallow something about me size.
Oh my goodness.
So what's the skin on that worth?
So the skin worth on a snake like that, it's kind of hard to say. I don't want to chop it up and make products out of it, although I could make a fortune doing that. I got almost 8. By the time it's tanned, I have over 18 feet of, 2 foot wide, 2.5 foot wide skin to make products of. I can make purses, backpacks, all kinds of stuff. Each one of those items with a professional tan could be $3,000 to $10,000 each item. But a lot of work and time goes into that, and money goes into that as well. But catching the snake by hand, it's a huge profit margin. Huge. I'm not raising the snake like everyone else. All these other snake skin products you're seeing, none of them are going to be Burmese python. It's illegal to farm Burmese python. Mm-hmm. So the only way you're getting legal Burmese python pattern is from a guy like me down in the Everglades, which makes it priceless, basically. But outside of that, your reticulated python, your Indian python skins, they're being farmed. The skins aren't as good. The patterns are smaller snakes, which generally the smaller pattern sometimes looks better, but the large pattern's good for larger products. On a normal size skin, I could make thousands off of it in products for sure. Those big skins, though, I usually keep them whole, and I like to bring them to events. I keep them myself. I don't sell them, and there's not many snake skins professionally tanned intact that size in the world, really. Right. So it's kind of a cool item to keep.
So some rapper, his luggage, he'll give you $50,000 for that to make his luggage out of.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be crazy to think for sure. The raw skins themselves, tanned, not made into products, I sell anywhere from $50 to $100 a foot.
Wow.
So this big. How often do you find a snake that's 12 foot out there? Is this uncommon or is it pretty common?
When I first started hunting them, the average size snake I was catching was 8 to 13 foot. Almost every snake I caught was at least 8 foot, usually more 10 foot and up. Nowadays that we've been hitting them really hard this past 4 or 5 years, our average size snake is 6 to 8 foot. It's definitely smaller, which is a good thing. The bigger snakes do a lot more damage than the small snakes. 6-8 foot snakes mostly going to be eating Everglades rats, here and there a marsh rabbit, things like that. A lot of alligators. But those big snakes are the ones that really hurt our ecosystem.
Now, what do you mean by what do they hurt in the ecosystem? I'm clueless to all of this. So like what are they getting?
Everything, man. Pythons have wiped out 90 to 99% of our fur-bearing small mammals in the Everglades. So our marsh rabbits, our otters, our possums, raccoons, they've all been almost totally wiped out by these pythons. Now, in this past 4 or 5 years we've been hitting them, we are seeing those populations rebounding quite quickly. But, they're also hitting the wading birds. And what I've noticed, like I told y'all earlier, I rescued 3 alligators from pythons. For me to come across an intimate moment like that of a snake wrapped around an alligator 3 times in just this past few years shows how much it's happening. Mm-hmm. I think their main food supply has become these alligators because there's so many of them out there and they've wiped out everything else.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think that they could take on an alligator.
The crazy thing is to think about
him rescuing the alligator.
That I'd have to make a choice between which I wanted to be in the water with, an alligator or a fucking python, because neither one of them. So we're never going to knock these pythons out of here. That's never going to happen.
No, but management is crucial. Yeah. We need to manage them. We can't just let it go and say, "Oh, well, we're never." let's just let them run rampant. We won't have nothing left in Florida. So management is absolutely crucial. And I think we're actually doing a decent job at managing them now. By no means do we have it figured out. We need better hunters out there for sure. The state is, I don't want to really even get into it, but the state is hiring some questionable people, people from out of town that just don't hunt or know anything about the woods. And, we need to get better hunters out there, possibly more hunters, but we need to divide them up in areas better. A lot of them are just hunting the same public roads that anybody can hunt, like Tamiami Trail and 41, because that's where it's easy to catch snakes. And we need to spread out our efforts more. That's why I don't even really hunt the levees anymore. I go out on my boat and I hunt the islands because no one's hunting out there. And I think we need to divide and conquer better. And the state definitely needs to start letting contract hunters use dogs. They need to get a not just any contract hunter, because none of the other contractor hunters have hunting dogs, but they need to get a unit of dog hunters. Basically, they need to hire some houndsmen with trained python dogs and let them out there, give them permission, let them use swamp buggies, let them use airboats. Right now they have it so restricted, it's really kind of limiting us to properly managing them. The pythons are still moving north. I'm hunting them more and more north every single year, and we need to stop kind of focusing. Everyone's just down south catching them. We need to stop this spread.
That's what drives me crazy about anything the government does. They'll tell you that there's a problem.
They can't fix shit.
We're gonna handcuff you. We're gonna tie your hands behind your back and hobble your feet. Let me just go fix the fucking problem instead of doing this bullshit. Just let me go.
The Postal Service is a perfect example of total fuck up. UPS makes enough money that they can have a NASCAR team. FedEx does too, but our Postal Service loses money every day.
Amazon.
Well, Amazon's not in the postal business, but they might as well be.
They ship their own stuff. I mean,
well, no, but I know that. But what I'm saying is the government's involved with the Postal Service, and that shit don't work.
Right.
Can you imagine the fucking rednecks you get when you ask people to apply for a job as a snake hunter? I bet you've seen some serious rednecks, haven't you, come out there?
Yeah, for sure. But that's just the thing. You can't just go hiring any redneck, because I've seen it when we had the Python competitions years and years ago.
Oh, I bet that was excellent.
You had people out there killing every snake they seen, and you got to definitely, if you're gonna hire these rednecks, you got to educate them, because I know rednecks want to kill every damn snake they see. I will tell you this. So you bring up a good point about the government handcuffing you, and over this past 4 or 5 years of me hunting these snakes, I can make my own money on the snakes. I don't need the states to pay me their bounty to be a contracted hunter. I'm making money off the content, but mainly I'm making money off these skins, a lot more than what the state would pay. So this year, I haven't even been hunting for the state. I hunt on my own. I'm able to use my dogs. I don't have to deal with any of their paperwork, any of their clock in, any of their drama from their other hunters, and boy, is there a lot of it. I just do my own thing, put my head down, catch these snakes. They can give that money to somebody else, and we're cleaning up the ecosystem, me and my dogs, and we're still making money doing it. More people realize that they can make money off these skins, make money off this meat and everything else, the more you're going to see guys like me going out and doing it on their own.
What is the bounty on a python from the state of Florida? Let me guess first. I'm going to say $25 a snake.
I'm going to say
no,
100.
it's actually pretty good. Your average size snake is going to get you about $100, maybe even $150. It's under, it's like $20 a foot, something in there. Your first 4 feet is $50. You're 25 each additional foot after that.
There are some rednecks in Louisiana that listen to us. They're like, some bitch, we're going to Florida and getting $100 a freaking snake.
Yeah, but they'll only pay you if they contract you. You have to get hired by the state, and like I said, they hire some questionable people. The first 25 they hired, which I was one of them, it was a really good group. They hired known snake hunters, guys that were already hunting pythons, and people like myself that own trapping companies, different things like that they thought would be a good asset. From there, from what I've seen, FWC, the Wildlife Commission, got more involved in it than they were before. It was South Florida Water Management. Now, since they've got more involved, they've clouded it all up, added a ton more rules, and they're hiring questionable people.
What is the? Well, I'm trying to think of how to word this exactly right. When you get these, when you get these snakes, you got these dogs. You say, or you've got hounds. What kind of dogs are they?
I'm using a single cur dog.
Just a cur dog. How do you train them to on snakes? Is that a natural thing for them to do, or you train it?
So it's not a natural thing for them to do. It's been a natural thing for this specific dog of mine.
Okay.
I've tried training. I actually had 2 Brittany Spaniels, papered Brittany Spaniels, donated to me in the hopes of me training them to be snake dogs. We put a ton of work into them, and I don't know if they're just dumb as a box of rocks or what. They'd literally be stepping on the snake and have it's invisible. And I just could not get them to figure out. I took my lead dog. He's my lead hog dog. I use him for blood trail and all kinds of different stuff. Took him out with me one day on the islands, and he found me 2 pythons right away. So I think he kind of picked it up because from a puppy, I'd have him in the truck with me while I'm out snake hunting. He'd have his head out the window, smelling them, spray me with musk, seeing me wrestle with them, put them in a bag, and be stoked as hell after I did. And I think all the times back at the house, him seeing me euthanize them, getting the smell of them, he just kind of, picked it up naturally on himself. As soon as he goes out there, he smells it. It's a familiar scent. He knows it's something I'm looking for, and he locks onto it.
Do you? Does he hit on any other snakes or just pythons?
So we've gone out there and he's found some different snake skins, some native snake skins. Keep in mind, this is his first year doing it. He's still new to it. He's been out there and tracked down and pointed a turtle for me. And so he's definitely still figuring it out, but I've caught probably about 10 pythons with him. And, there's no other dog in Florida doing that.
How many times do you encounter rattlesnakes on this deal, or water moccasins or something?
Water moccasins, definitely here and there. Rattlesnakes, not so much. Now, when I'm hog hunting more north, kind of Martin County area, just kind of the northern part of the Everglades, I'll see more of them where it's a little bit drier up there. But generally down south, rattlesnakes aren't super common. You will see them, but you're going to see more water moccasins than anything.
Andy loves them.
I was teal hunting 2 weeks ago. And I had I don't know if it was a water moccasin, but I had I had 3 water snakes swimming. Had they kept swimming, they'd have landed right underneath my feet. We shot every one of those sons of bitches. I hate reptiles. It does not matter if it's a fucking lizard, snakes, definitely iguanas. I'm out on the reptiles. So, and especially right at daylight, you're like, fuck this. We're done. This is as far as he's getting. So it's over.
I'm starting at you.
So you kill a lot of iguanas also in the Everglades, right?
They're not so much in the Everglades yet. They're along the edges of the Everglades, but the iguanas, they're more city limits. They stay within the city for whatever reason. They like those kind of open areas to bask in the sun and stuff like that. And so out in the Everglades, I'm hunting the snakes. Inside the city, I'm hunting the iguanas. They're absolutely running rampant. And it kind of shows 2 different sides of the spectrum. You got pythons that's absolutely devastating our native wildlife. And then you got the iguanas that's absolutely devastating our infrastructure, tax dollars, and everything like that. They're crapping everywhere. They're eating flowers, landscaping. But the main thing they're doing is digging these freaking burrows everywhere. And these burrows, they undermine sidewalks, seawalls, housing foundations. The city of Davie alone last year spent $1.7 million repairing damage from these iguanas along their canal systems. So it shows, they're having a huge effect, and we don't have these tax dollars to spare for them.
So do you shoot them with an air gun?
Yep, I hunt them with an air rifle. Some parks, when they hire me, they don't want me using an air rifle. 99% of them are good with whatever I'm good with. But I have a few that don't like me using the air rifle. I'll go in there with a 25-foot noose pole and just kind of sneakily sneak it over the iguana's head, tighten down, fight them to me, and then once I get them in my hands, I usually tie them up and then euthanize them all off site. But yeah, I use an Ed Gun 30 caliber air rifle. They're insanely tough. You could shoot them 10 times in the body and they're not dying.
Wow.
There is no idle shots with iguanas. You got to get them right in that brain. And that's, you know, most reptiles, gators and everything as well.
We're going.
But
go ahead.
What's that?
We're going to Puerto Rico next spring, and we're going to go hunt them. We're going to go on a hunt one day for them.
Okay, nice. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in Puerto Rico for sure.
Do they eat good?
Yeah, they're delicious. Yep. I've had them many times. You know, I can only eat so much. I feed most of them to my livestock, but they're definitely tasty, similar to chicken. If you ever had frog legs, it's like frog legs. And I actually make use of the skin as well. I'll skin them out, get the skins tanned, make wallets, bracelets, 1911 grips, anything you can imagine.
Holy shit! So is this like the python? Like, were they just a pet that got out and now they've just everywhere?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a combination of things. It's that, and it's also, I think a lot of them have come over on shipping containers from Mexico, America, things like that. They're sneaky little bastards for sure. But I'd say a majority of it is the pet trade. They're very good at escaping. They get big as hell and freak people out, and they'll let them go. And yeah, it's become a big problem.
Are they aggressive when you get to
them? Sometimes the big males can be. Yeah,
but will they hurt you?
Claw you, bite you, and the little ones too. But the little ones, they generally don't try to bite. Here and there, you'll get one that does, and if it does get you, it's not going to let go. You'll have to pry its mouth open with a knife or something. But generally, they're not real bitey. And once you grab them and they have their initial freak out and claw you to pieces, they're like a limp noodle. They're just going to lay there and not do a damn thing.
Because you posted a picture not long ago of your hand from the iguana. Torn up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that from one iguana or is that like from multiple?
No, that was one that I was grabbing out of a tree that was still partway alive. A client shot, came back to life and just tore me to shreds.
Oh my goodness.
See, I never would have thought of them being that detrimental because like we were just in Mexico not a couple months ago and they had a big one that come up every day at the same time and I was feeding him nachos one day.
Well, Jeff, you're part of the problem.
But I mean, I just throw him some food down. He'd eat it, so good for him. But I didn't know that I never thought of them burrowing up. So that's the biggest problem they have is the burrowing and the infrastructure problem more than them being catastrophic to the ecosystem.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people don't know this. I only know this because of the time I spend hunting iguanas. But they do have definite effects on our native wildlife and pretty significant, actually. So because they burrow and because they're territorial and will actually steal other animals' burrows, we have a threatened burrowing owl here in Florida, South Florida, and we have the threatened gopher tortoise. Both species are, struggling, threatened, and protected. I've witnessed iguanas on, I can't count how many occasions, go inside these burrows and totally evict this native wildlife during nesting season. So if they have a nest in there, they're going to destroy that nest and lay their own nest. And, that'll affect the population big time. And I'm not the only one observing this. FWC has observed this. A lot of different trappers I know have seen the same thing. So, they're definitely having their effects. And really what it comes down to, I hear from people all the time, like, oh, they're not bothering nothing, leave them be, blah, blah, blah. Even if that were true, which it's 100% not, even if that were true, our native wildlife is struggling in Florida so much from our poor water management, from all the overdevelopment and all the fertilizers and all this bullshit that we're having from golf courses and everything. Our native wildlife is struggling so much as it is. The last thing they need is this non-native invasive species taking territory, taking food supplies, and the main thing is territory because there's so little of it with all this overdevelopment. That's the last thing we need. We need to give our native wildlife every resource we can to give them a fighting chance.
Well, I can tell you what, whoever come up with a burrowing owl did not really do a good job of that, because that damn thing ain't got a chance in hell anyway, especially in Florida.
It doesn't. It's about the size of a grapefruit, too. It's a small little sucker.
Oh, shit.
So I want to go back to when you rescue the alligator from the python. How do you do, what's your technique? Do you just, because now, I mean, you've also got a gator that you've got to worry about. So, Jesus, I mean,
so,
it's not like he's going to say thank you.
No.
So the first time was the biggest bundle of the three, of course. 6-foot gator. Gator's as big as me. And about a 14-foot python. The bundle is in the water on the side of the levee in the swamp. The bundle's so big, I gotta bear hug it out of the water to get it out of the water and get it up on the land. A python can disappear in the water in a second, so I want to get it out of that water. I bear hug it. Gator's head is right by my head. The first time I'm doing it, I don't know if this gator's gonna chomp me, what the hell it's gonna do. I just kind of went for it. Bear hugged it up. The bundle's so heavy, I could maybe take like 4 steps with it, and then I slammed it down. I body slammed it down as hard as I could. But the gator was totally unconscious as I'm bear hugging it. It's just like flapping, not doing a thing. As soon as I slam it down on the ground, the big old 14-foot python starts to come unravel, and I'm able to quickly grab its head. And once I grab its head, it's trying to fight with me. It totally lets go of the gator. The gator starts rolling down to the water, unconscious still. I get a hold of the python. I'm able to finally get it in a bag. Takes me a little while. And by that time, the gator's coming back to life, and I basically just shoo him in the water, and he swims off, and we go our separate ways.
Jeez. So your python encounters, are most of them the same? Like, you know what most pythons are going to do? Like, do they strike most of the time? I mean, is there a rhythm that most pythons stick to?
Reptiles are very predictable, and it's really helped that I've owned them since a little kid. I'm very good at reading their body language and knowing what they're going to do before they do it. And yeah, you hit it right on the head. It's a rhythm. It's like, you kind of know what the snake's going to do. I generally like to go for the tail. I'm out there hunting all night for this thing. I don't want to just grab it by the head, throw it in a bag, and be done with it. I want to kind of wrestle with it a little bit and, kind of enjoy the moment. And a lot of times you can get to that tail a lot easier. And once I got a hold of that tail, the snake's going nowhere. I got it. So get the tail, pull it out in the open, and it's usually going to try to either flee from me or double back and strike at me. I want it to try to strike at me. If it's fleeing, I'll usually try to piss it off a little bit, get it to start striking. After a few strikes, it kind of tires out, and it'll just sit there for a minute, and then that's when you can just grab it by the head. It's basically it.
So you said cold-blooded animals, they peter out quickly? Really?
Yeah.
So they don't have a whole lot of stamina to them?
No. Same with gators and everything. When we go out and hunt gators, they'll have that fight, roll, and after that, dude, you can just pull them up, and they're tired. They exhaust easy. They burn up all that energy they have, and it makes it a little easier to handle them. The initial fight is going to be a battle for sure, but after that,
I guess that would make sense. I mean, when you think about the way that they prey on animals, it's a big burst, and then they either have it or they don't, but they save up all that energy for one big out of the water, and we're going to get this and take it to my
and then wrangle, they're just slowly tightening down, and it's just kind of a game of inches where they're just tighter and tighter and tighter while the animal struggles and exhausts itself out. And I do the same thing with snakes. So when I get like that big female, that 17 and a half I caught, my goal is to tire that snake out before it tires me out. So I got it by the head, but I'm just letting it fight itself. You'll see in a part of video where I tourniquet my arm where the snake's like trying to get me, and I'm just kind of keeping it off me. And it's using all of its energy, and I'm not using shit. And just tire itself out. And once it's tired out, I'm good.
On that video, you said, I'm worried it got an artery. You know, and you said it got your veins, but is your heart just racing? Like, are you thinking like, motherfucker, I'm about to bleed out and the snake's going to eat me? And
my heart was pounding out my chest when I first seen it. When I first seen the tail and I just kept going, I'm like, oh, it's a fucking monster. And, I'm out there by myself. I had all my camera stuff set up, ready to go too. So I'm like, dude, this is the moment I've been waiting for. Like, this is it, do or die. So, I go for it. And to be totally honest with you, people always ask me, like, what were you thinking when you got bit? Dude, as soon as that thing bit me and I seen all that blood spraying and I know I got all my cameras angled perfect.
Money.
I'm like, this is going so viral. I'm like, this be fucking insane. And it did. It went good. But, after that first initial, like, this is going to be good, I'm like, okay, don't die now. And, I wasn't real worried about bleeding out. To me, I know they're just punctures. They're going to clot up quick. I don't think I'm going to bleed out, but I do know it's 100 degrees. I know my heart's pounding a million miles an hour. I know I'm fighting for my life and I lost a lot of blood. I don't want to black out. If I black out, this snake is going to kill me 100%. It's going to climb up on me, wrap around me. It's going to kill me. Probably not eat me because I'm pretty big for it. But, I mean, who knows? It could. But, that the main thing was not blacking out more than anything.
Is there any kind of gear that you could wear, like gloves or something that would be snake-proof kind of that you could use?
You could. Pussy, I guess. But
well, I'm that way. There's no doubt I would be there.
And it's too hot. And wearing gloves, anytime I wear gloves before, they just get in your way. You can't grip, you can't grab like you normally do. And my main thing is I don't want the snake to get away. I'll take a bite to the face if I got to. I don't want this big ass snake to get away. That's my paycheck. That's my glory. That's everything I'm out here trying to get. And I'd rather take a few bites than let my gloves or, arm guards get in the way of me capturing a snake.
Right.
And that snake's not slimy. Everybody thinks a snake's going to be slimy. That thing's not slimy at all.
I'll tell you what, when they start spraying that musk and shit, which they do when you're catching them, they get real slippery. Now,
what is this? What do they do? The spraying of the musk? I've never heard of this before. Is it out of their mouth?
Out of their ass.
It's like piss and shit.
Out of their ass. They're going to shit on you. They're going to piss on you. And with all that comes musk. Musk as well. And it's just like every snake has a different smelling musk. From what I've seen, the water snakes, especially the moccasins, have the nastiest smelling. But the python almost smells like a real strong, like BO smell. And they'll cover you with that. They'll cover you with piss and shit. And it makes them slippery. Smell of money, though.
I'm going to tell you what, if I saw a fucking 17-foot snake in the water, you would never have to worry about me leaving the fucking manicured grass ever again. That would be the end of that shit forever. Do you get calls like from the city of Miami or any of them other places down there and they say, hey, we've got a big python. We need you to come get it?
Yeah, I've definitely gotten calls before. It's not real common. Most of the snakes are staying out in the Everglades. Here and there, you'll have someone that goes out, catches one, brings it back in the city limits. It gets loose or they let it go. And then, I'll get some calls. But no, it's not real common. I do a lot of removals for the city for iguanas and different things like that. And here and there, a snake gets thrown in. But
in Dallas, 3 hours east of here, they had a cobra that got out in June, and they never have found it yet. And it was a 6-foot cobra, and it's still missing. They don't know what happened to it.
I hope that son of a bitch is dead.
Yeah.
I hope he got ran over.
Well, no, it would be on the news.
So
they don't know what happened to it.
There's been rumors of cobras in Florida. There's definitely a lot of cobra owners down here, and it's just kind of a matter of time before some of them wind up loose.
You going to try to catch one of them if you see it, or you going to shoot that bastard?
It's a good question. Knowing me, I'm probably going to try to catch it.
Fuck that.
I've never caught a cobra, so that'd be my
You wouldn't
moment.
get 2 chances.
Yeah, I think bites you. You're not coming back from it. I don't know.
So when the python bites you, does it try to bite and hold you? Because when you look at its teeth, they're curved in. So does it try to bite and hold you, or does it just strike and then back up and retreat?
Generally, they're going to bite and they're going to hold. Their teeth are recurved, like you said. They're going to lock on, and you got to kind of pry them off of you. You know, it all depends on the bite they get. Sometimes they don't get that good bite to latch on. I got really lucky with that big one that bit me. It bit and I got it right off. As soon as it bit me, I grabbed its head and I got it right off. If that thing latched onto me while I was out there by myself, dude, it would have been a bad situation. Getting a snake that size off of you alone is a tough feat.
How hard is it to unravel them if they like get around your leg or something like that?
Depending on the size of the snake, it could be almost impossible. If it's a 17-foot python by yourself, probably possible. If it's just like a 6 or 8-foot python, as long as you can get the tip of that tail and you unravel it from the tip of the tail, it's extremely easy. But if you can't get that tip of the tail and get the leverage to actually unwind it, like if it's a big ass snake where it's just too much, you're never going to get it off. You have to get it from the tip of the tail off.
What's the biggest when they get 22, 24 foot?
Well, they don't.
Even in other places.
A Burmese, at least, is about 20 foot. I think the largest in captivity was like 20 foot.
What about in Burma?
Yeah, and in Burma, it's the same thing. They don't really get larger than that. Now, the reticulated python, they get like 26 feet.
Good Lord. What?
And there have been some of those caught down here in Florida.
What do they weigh?
We don't have a population of them like the Burmese, but, you know, they're pets that get loose.
How much do they weigh? 200, 250 pounds?
Yeah, they could. If you were to get like a big, you know, mid 20-footer, could definitely be 200 something pounds. A buddy of mine actually owns a 23-foot reticulated python. He's the owner of the Skunk Ape research headquarters down in Florida. His father got video of the skunk ape out in the Everglades, and they have a 23-foot, I believe it's 23-foot reticulated python. It's definitely like 250
I think we just opened up another can of worms.
Yes,
what the hell is a skunk ape?
Bigfoot.
Yeah, you definitely need to have Jack Shealy on here, or at the very least get his. If you can get his dad on here, you hit a gold mine. But at the very least, get Jack on here, and you'll have a great podcast for sure.
So the skunk ape, that's Bigfoot in the swamp, right?
It is a hairier, stinkier subspecies of the skunk ape that lives exclusively in the Everglades.
Have you seen?
And
have you seen it?
The reason they smell so bad is because they actually live in alligator dens. So alligator dens are very stinky. They hide rotten animals up in there. It smells like alligator musk. And the skunk ape will actually live up under there in the alligator
And they
dens.
just get along with the alligators like no problem?
I don't know. You know, I'm not a skunk ape hunter like my buddy Jack is. But I don't know if they coexist in there with the alligator, or if maybe they do some iguana type stuff and evict the alligator from the gator den.
That's a hell of an animal to evict gators from a gator den.
Have you seen a skunk ape?
I have not. I have not seen a skunk ape, but I got a handful of buddies that'll swear to you and give you goosebumps by their story of the skunk ape.
Is this video of Jack's father, is it on YouTube by any chance, or is he holding on to it?
I think you can find it on YouTube. Yep, I think you can. And I will say one thing. The video definitely looks like a man in a monkey suit. I'll put that out there right off the rip. But I have never in all my days seen a man move through the swamp as quick as that man in a monkey suit moved through the swamp.
There's a guy named Dave Shealy's?
Dave Shealy. That's
okay,
him.
There's a video.
No human can move through the swamp like that, and that's I really mean that.
We'll watch it whenever we're done here. Jeff's watching it right now. So how
he's got videos on YouTube, so I don't know which one you're winding up on. But.
He's like standing in the middle of the Everglades. It looks
Just
like
kind of walking out for a leisurely stroll.
The skunk
Yeah.
ape.
the skunk ape.
Looks like he's going to get him a bottle of beer somewhere.
How did you find this monster of a snake? Because it was not. I mean, it was weeded. Like there's brush up over your head. How the hell?
Yeah.
Did your dog find it?
Well, that's why on islands, and this was before I was using my dog, and I was on these islands, and I just walked the island, and it's hard work, man. It really is. I've started to do some guided hunts, taking people out, and dude, they don't go past midnight. Now, this was during the day. This was during the time of year where it's cool. Well, maybe not. This was at the end of it. This was more. I think this was breeding season. That's what it was. I was out there for breeding season, and which is a little warmer, but the snakes are still out moving, looking for mates. And I was just searching the thick grass, maiden cane on the islands, and I just seen its tail sticking out of the maiden. I mean, I couldn't miss it. It's massive. And then as I'm walking it, you can only see, part of it because of the thick vegetation. And it just keeps going and going and going. And I knew as soon as I seen the girth of the tail, I knew it was an absolute monster. But I couldn't really get to the head. And I was worried if I got close to the head, it might try to spook. Right. And once that snake hits that water, it's gone. And even if it gets in that like even thicker vegetation that it was heading into, you'll never get enough strength to pull that snake through the vegetation. Once it's weeded itself through it, it uses leverage, and it's just impossible. And that's why I got the tail and kind of the snake was, when I got the tail, it was actually dragging me out in the swamp. I couldn't stop it. It was just dragging me. And I dug my heels into the limestone and was able to stop it. And we were kind of at a stalemate, tug of war. And did exactly what I wanted. I was hoping once I got that kind of stopped it and we had that tug of war, the only thing it had to do was come back and start striking at me. And then once it strikes at me, I can get the head. And it did, sure enough, striking at me. I dodged the first couple strikes. And how it bit me was lunged at me. I dodged the strike. And I've never had a big python do this, but, you could tell she was an old, smart girl. Struck, I dodged it. She recoiled back like quarter way.
Getting a phone call. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
You're good. We see you.
She recoiled back like quarter way and then came back at me again. And I wasn't expecting it. I was getting ready for, her to go back and come again. And that's how she got me. So it wasn't like a super powerful bite either, but they don't need it. Their teeth are the sharpest teeth out of any animal I've ever captured. It touches you. You're leaking everywhere. And pushed right in, got me, and yeah.
Does it hurt like hell? I mean, is it just like needles just all over your skin?
Yeah, big. It definitely hurts. Python bite's really painful, usually because it's like in your hand or in some area that's bony. And dude, it hurts big time. You're going to swell up. You're going to bruise. And especially if you're not used to getting bit a bunch, you're going to jerk away from it, and you're going to rip its teeth out. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of teeth in your body, which is no fucking good. Oh my God. If you're left with teeth in you, dude, you're going to be sore for months. It's the worst.
Do they get infected also? I mean, you're in the Everglades.
Yeah, you got to keep it clean. You got to clean it out. Can get infected for sure.
I got to ask you, Otto seems like the coolest fucking dog ever. How old is he?
He really is. Almost 2 years old. Still a pup.
So did you get him when he was a pup?
Yep. Got him from a little puppy.
And how do you train him to iguana hunt?
Basically, my girlfriend Allie is the one who really spearheaded his training. I just kind of gave him the experience and a little direction out in the field. But she trained him for birds and ducks, retrieving and upland pointing work, and just general obedience. And then I just started working in iguanas, sneaking in iguanas with the ducks and different things like that. And then just taking them out in the field, really just pulling that natural talent out of him, man. He's got such a drive, such a good nose. He's so smart. he's just really a good dog and has really picked up the iguanas. I think he likes doing the iguanas more than anything too, because I let him go out there, grab them, shake them, chew them, and he likes the chase. He likes the hunt. He'll step right over a dead iguana to go catch a live one.
Yeah, I saw the video where y'all got 3 of them. So you shot 2, and somehow he goes into the bushes and he finds just this live iguana, shakes the shit out of it. I guess that part wasn't on video.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I'm sneaking up on the one iguana I see, and I see him freeze. And dude, he's like 10, 15 feet away from the bush that the iguana's in. Freeze, points right to it, and I knew he was on something. And then as soon as he hears me shoot the one iguana, in his mind, that's the sign to go get it. He flies, catches his own, brings it out, shows me it, and then I shoot a third one in the water, and I'm not going to be able to get it. I'm not going to dive in the water for it. So he runs out there, crunches his iguana he caught, killed it, drops it, and gets the one I just shot and brings it back. And it was a 3 for 1.
That's
for sure.
crazy that he picked up how to kill an iguana.
Well, he likes, we don't let him crunch the birds or tear up the birds. So he knows when he can get away with it. Yeah, he loves. He gets their head and just crunches it and just totally smashes their head.
That's fascinating that he picked that up all on his own and that wasn't, you didn't have to train him or anything like that. Is he a good house pet?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's hanging out right next to me over here. Yeah. He's a very good dog. Same with our dog Moose, man. He's the same way. We're blessed with very good dogs. And we have a total of 18 dogs ourselves. They're not all superstars, but they're all good dogs. And Allie actually full-time trains dogs now. She has 6 dogs. She's training for clients, and she also guides on the side. So it's what we live and breathe.
Now, does she help you with these python hunts and everything, or what does she do? Guide?
Yep. Actually, she used to be a state contractor as well. The state hired her as a professional python hunter, and it wasn't until this year that we branched out and done our own thing. But she'll reach down there, and she's caught 12, 13 footers like it's nothing.
What's the weirdest thing you've seen in the Everglades?
Cocaine. Bag of cocaine.
Weirdest. Probably the big satanic ritual I came across. It was pretty crazy. Made the news. It's down in a old abandoned space rocket facility in the middle of the Everglades, where there's actually still a 150-foot space rocket in the ground. It's a very cool facility. A lot of shady stuff goes on out there. A lot of crimes, rapes, gang initiations. All kinds of stuff, anything you can imagine happens out in the middle of the Everglades at an abandoned complex. And I went out there during the Easter moon, which come to find out is when a lot of satanic stuff happens. And I found a big old rock pile with upside down red spray painted crosses. On the top of it was a wooden upside down cross. And at the base of the rock pile was a doll with its eyes plucked out and an upside down ash cross on its forehead. As I get closer, kind of wondering what the hell is going on, I noticed that there's a red scarlet snake wrapped around the doll's head alive. And which is kind of weird. Scarlet snake is not a super common snake, and why is it just wrapped around the doll's head like that? I go and pick up the snake, and which everyone afterwards like, I can't believe you touched anything. You're gonna have demons following you and whatever. So I pick up the snake, and it's bleeding out of its asshole.
What?
I've caught thousands and thousands of snakes. None of them have been bleeding out of their asshole. So that was a little weird. The snake's only this big.
Right.
Little weird, right? Move along the way. I notice on the roadway I'm driving, there's like 100-foot spray painted Latin, and it translates to he's watching, turn around, run, hide.
I just got the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
Oof.
Oh, dude, it gets so much crazier. So I go in each one of these buildings, there's satanic
Are
shit.
you by yourself?
Like crosses. And there's like 10 different buildings easily.
Are you alone?
Yeah, no. I'm actually, I have a guided hunt with me.
Fuck.
I got 2 guys.
I'd hate to be your
Dude,
client.
they're dead quiet.
Well,
like,
fuck yeah.
They just want to leave, I can tell, but I got to check this shit out.
Oh my God.
So we go in and, there's crazy shit in all these buildings, like really weird shit that just creeps you the fuck out. And then in one of them, there's a 50-foot pentagram spray painted, like huge, like professional looking. In the middle of it, there's a 3-legged chair with a blood stain on it, and on the bottom of the chair looks like they sacrificed something. In the room behind that room, you find a little girl's gown nailed to the wall, and it looks like it's probably red spray paint, but it looks like old dried blood. It's probably red spray paint. Underneath that, there's like a sleeping bag with something in it. And in this room I'm looking in, you can't really get in it. It's like there's this window you're looking in, and the door it's kind of like, I forget, it was kind of wedged, I think. Anyway, I didn't want to go in the room. You could see what's in the room. Spray paint on the walls, like she was only 9. We gave her to the devil, like all this, funky stuff. And anyway, I reported it to the police. They came out, investigated, made the news. Come to find out, the founder of Aerojet, which the facility, it was owned by Aerojet during the Cold War. It's abandoned now. Come to find out, he was like a public Satanist, died in some kind of satanic ritual where he blew up, and I guess out there has a whole satanic past. His second wife, he claimed he conjured from hell, that she was a demon from hell that he conjured up.
Fuck.
She has the same name as my grandmother, Marjorie Kimmel. Whoa. Which is, for me, was like the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
So the more and more I research about this place, which I'm not done yet, I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on it. The more and more I research the place, the more like shady stuff comes out, that there's a whole history behind it. Lady's got the same name as my grandmother, and like, real creepy stuff. So should be a good YouTube video. But I would say that was definitely one of the weirdest stuff I've seen out there.
If we gave an award for the most fucked up story ever, when I ask someone some weird shit, you win hands down. I mean, when you said that part about in Latin, it said "get the fuck out of there." Basically,
Run, he's watching.
My fucking skin. As a client, I would have fired your ass on the spot. Wow.
They wanted to go, son. They wanted to go. They wouldn't even go in the buildings with. They'd just wait outside.
And I gotta imagine,
I would have went with you just to make sure where the fuck you were at. You had guns, right?
Oh yeah, I always got a shotgun and pistol and all kinds of stuff in the truck. But.
The only time I've ever heard a story like this is when I was in college. I worked for the Air Force. I wasn't in the Air Force. I worked as a contractor for them, basically. And I worked in Wichita. And there was a lady there, and she was a lieutenant in the Air Force. And she told me a story one time that when she was at Colorado Springs, a bunch of them did a hiking trip with like Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. They were volunteers, and they come up a place in the middle of the outside of Colorado Springs, and they had big bundles of rocks and sticks and stuff. And it was a temple that someone had built for the devil there. And
wow,
that was fucking creepy, but it ain't got not close on your deal. And
I imagine there's no electricity, so like you just got a flashlight. You're not.
Yeah.
You can't just. You're not just turning on lights.
This is a key factor I left out. So on my way out of there, I'm pulling out, and I see flashlights moving on each side of the road. Dude, I'm miles and miles and miles out from a road that is miles and miles and miles from anywhere. Like there's nobody out here, and I have a key to the gate. Nobody else got a key to the gate.
So this is at night you're doing this?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's in the middle of the night.
And, fuck, dude, it is even worse.
It's like a long walk. Like no one in their right mind's walking out there. I see flashlights on each side of the road, people walking.
Yeah.
So I got my gun out on my lap, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? We just found all that satanic shit. Pulling up, driving past them, I hear, Mike. That's my name.
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm shooting this motherfucker for sure. Turns out, as he gets closer, he's like, hey, I know you. He follows me on Instagram, and he was coming out there to hunt pythons with his buddy.
Oh.
So I'm like, dude, I just found a bunch of shady shit back there. Right. Fucking be careful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I talked to him the next day, and I'm like, hey, what, you find any snakes? What happened? And he's like, nah, about 10 minutes after you passed us, we heard a bunch of gunshots back in there. Ooh. And we wrote it out. So, dude, it sounded like there was still somebody back in there the whole time I was in there. No. And they ended up shooting some shit.
Gee.
So, yeah. Two things. First, you've lost your damn mind. I would never go back around again. And the guys, these other guys were going hunting pythons at nighttime?
That's when they hunt them.
This time of year, you hunt them at night. Mm. It's just too hot during the day. They're out moving at night, hunting, traveling, and that's when you see them, is when they're on the move. If they're holed up, you're never going to find them.
So when you called the cops, did they go in and like clear this place out? No?
No.
Shit, no. Deputy's like, fuck that.
It remained there for a very long time until people started to fuck with it and move it around. And because there's people that go out there and do graffiti during the day and stuff like that. I don't know if they take 4-wheelers or dirt bikes out there or what, but
dude,
who owns this place? The government?
I think South Florida Water Management owns it now. Yeah, it's just outside the national park.
So when you're clearing these rooms, like, are you just at a fucking 10 RPM? Like, are you just waiting for somebody to come out so you can just...
when the satanic shit was
yes.
there? Yeah. I had my shotgun and stuff.
Oh.
And this is next to a national park, right?
Yeah, it is. Just outside the national park.
What I tell you, Andy, that's the most unsafe place in America is a national park. You're better off in the shitty parts of Chicago than you are to go to a fucking national park. Mm-hmm. Well, dude, you've been one interesting cat. I'm telling you right now.
Been a pleasure.
I've really enjoyed. If you ever want to come to West Texas and shoot waterfowl, we'd love to have you at our place. Because
I appreciate it. I need to get y'all down here, come shoot some iguanas and help me catch some of these hogs.
I will shoot an iguana. I will not pick up an iguana. Like
Why?
I said, I don't do fucking reptiles, Jeff. I've told you this. They scare me.
I'm fucking scared to go to the Everglades because the satanic shit.
We've got, okay, so just to wrap this up, you got pythons that can kill you. You got gators that can kill you.
They got skunk apes.
Bears. And now all of a sudden you tack on the satanic cult.
And our panthers are out of control.
Panthers?
Oh, yeah.
And they're not even panthers no more. They're Texas mountain lions is what they are.
How the hell did these get loose?
The government, they thought it was a good idea to bring them in and interbreed them with our panthers. And now they actually ended up eating some of our panthers, and they've just completely taken over.
So are you hunting those also?
Fuck no. You even taking a picture of them damn things.
Oh, really?
They're so I mean, you can take pictures of them, but they're just so protective. We got crocodiles, too, if y'all didn't know.
I did know
They're
that.
very protective.
My son watches Wildcrats, and I guess Florida is the only place that has both alligators and crocodiles.
Yep, that's it. We got it all, son.
Jeez. I land in Miami tomorrow, so luckily I don't have to leave the fucking airport. And I'm not going to.
You'll be looking out the window looking for that satanic spot.
No shit. I'm gonna be looking for you as I fly into Florida. I'll see you out there catching all these pythons and stuff.
I'd rather be at Satanic Airjet than fucking Miami Airport. I'll tell you that.
Is it bad? What's wrong? What's wrong with it?
Andy's a nervous fella, anyways.
Inward.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole nother world from Florida, and the airport is times 10.
Oh Jesus. I don't like traveling anyway. It's my 10-year wedding anniversary, so we're going to St. Lucia. We have an hour-and-a-half layover in Miami. So
go down to South Beach, Andy.
Thanks for ruining that for me. Now I'm gonna be fucking.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
All right. Well, listen, man, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Stay safe out there. I don't know what you're going to get into next, and I don't think you can really say either. So stay safe. It's been a pleasure. And like Jeff said, if you ever get out to West Texas, we'd love to have you. And stay in touch, man.
For sure. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, bud.
Y'all as well.
Interesting guy.
Let me tell you.
That's the scariest story I've ever. That is the ever. You know, when I ask people that, we get a little story. That right there was a freaking story. Woof.
Let me tell you. The chances of me going into an abandoned space shuttle building. When I've already, you take the satanic shit out of it just at the beginning.
You're already kind of nervous.
I'm already not going in. I'm not going in. You take away the satanic shit, and I'm not going in. Just on its surface. Added to, he saw all these upside down crosses. Before he ever even got in, this fucking fly. I've already killed one of his buddies.
Can you imagine being the guy or the guys that are on this trip with this guy? It's dark, you can't see shit, and somebody goes walking in this place.
Yeah, I would, as a customer, I would feel like I'm about to get a prank pulled on me,
or killed.
Yeah, like who the fuck did I just pay money to?
I'm gonna get killed or worse.
Killed is the best case scenario out of all this stuff. 100%. I think you unplugged it. You completely unplugged it. Yeah, my butthole's gonna get reamed out. I'm gonna be bleeding out my butt like this red python or cobra or whatever the hell it was.
I don't know much about this satanic shit, but
It's scary.
I don't know how anybody could get involved in it, and I can't imagine what the good end of it is. I mean, as a Christian, when we die, we go to heaven, a great place. What happens to you when are you going to hell? I mean, what's
Well, yeah.
But I mean, what are they trying to?
I guess.
What's their selling card on this?
You get whatever you want while you're here, I guess.
I mean, that's what I'm wondering. Is it?
You get to just do whatever.
But
I've seen, like, listen, I don't know.
Do you see where I'm coming from, though?
Right.
I don't see what the selling point is to try to make you become a
where do I
Satan
get
worshiper.
ahead?
Yeah. In heaven, in Christianity, you go to heaven. So I guess you're going to get everything, like you said, in life that you want now, and then eternal is going to be hell.
Yes, I assume so.
Don't sound like a winning deal to me.
But why do they have to Well, I mean, I
don't understand nothing about it, man.
Christian sacrifice.
And let me tell you something. I don't even want to read up on it.
Yeah, because then you feel like you got bad juju coming.
Yeah, I don't want no bad juju. I don't even like anything spirit wise and shit. Like I said, and the national park right there along with it. I'm telling you.
But
that's why they set that shit across.
Christianity, they sacrifice things for a long time. So
yes.
It's not that uncommon. Holy cow.
What a story.
Would you have wanted, so like, say you're already balls deep into this place. Do you go into that room and see what's in that sleeping bag?
I don't know. I'm awful nosy. I don't know. I like to know what's on the other side of the door always. If I had a gun with me and somebody with me, now I'm a ballsy fucker if I got somebody with me. By myself, I ain't getting the fuck out of the car.
No.
Matter of fact, by myself, I'm not opening that fucking gate up and going into a locked-in area.
No. And he already knew that, shit goes down.
I'm not going to lie to you before. I've had to walk back to the decoy spread at the dark by myself, and I liked it a whole lot better when somebody walks with me.
That really doesn't bother me out here. It did in Canada a couple times, but not so much out here.
But I'm nosy, so I'd want to know what was on the other side of that door, and I'd like to know what's in those buildings. Anytime I go in and buy an abandoned place in the middle of nowhere, I'd like to look and see what's inside shit. That's just human nature.
Not for me, it's not. That's why I'm going to outlive everybody in a scary movie.
Well,
I am not curious at all.
Now, if I know someone's going around like Michael Myers, like we talked about on that deal.
Right. You get a lot less brave.
Yeah. The Skunk Ape deal, that video, God almighty.
We can pull it up real quick. Give me just a second.
And here's the deal. These are his friends that he believes and knows.
Right.
And they have no reason to lie that they seen something.
Right.
So I understand where somebody like him, where, you start.
Skunk Ape.
Is it?
That's
it right
one?
there. Yep.
All right, let's take us a look-see. Take a little look-see. So
It's like a smooth walker going to the liquor store in Paducah, Texas, as Terry Utley would tell us.
He's a smooth cat. Just walking. He doesn't, I mean, I can't really tell. He doesn't look like a guy in a monkey suit. Just looks like a dark.
But I know what he's saying, too.
How easy it's getting along.
Yeah, it's just on swamp.
Right.
But he's just out for a stroll.
He ain't worried about shit. 2,000. Huh. I don't know. Fucking Everglades, man. I'm telling you what. They got more shit there. They are almost like Australia.
I'm not going there.
I mean, really.
I've never had a desire. I would want to go past them. I haven't been to the Keys yet. That's one of the few places in the United States I haven't been that I would like to go.
I was going to look up Skunk Ape. It's just crazy that, I don't know. So, like, every culture has a Bigfoot in its folklore and mythology.
From
So that-
years and years and
so
years
that
ago.
would make you think that there might be something to it. Skunk ape, also known as swamp ape and Florida Bigfoot, is American folklore. Ape-like creature. Huh. And then that's a creepy-looking bastard there.
Esti Kapkaka.
Huh?
It says, a secretive creature called Esti Kapkaka. I guess that's where Cammy Cake's got her name.
I don't know. The old, in 1977, after a rash of sightings by dozens of eyewitnesses across several Florida counties, a failed to pass bill was seriously proposed to state legislator to make it illegal to possess, harm,
Or molest.
or molest.
That's more
Only in Florida.
Yeah. You cannot molest a Bigfoot.
Yeah, they made it illegal to hump a Bigfoot. See, now that looks fake as fuck to me. That looks fake.
That doesn't.
But who knows? There's some creepy shit out there. I know that much.
Well, I'm glad I'm not going to Everglades anytime soon.
I wonder what he meant by Miami, Florida being a shit show.
It is.
The airport?
I'm sure. Good luck, Andy.
I kill one fly and 2 more pop up.
All right, let's get off here. I got stuff to do today. God bless y'all. Hope y'all are having a great week. Andy, I hope vacation's going good for you because this is going to come out while you're on vacation.
Sounds like I hope I get out of the damn airport.
Yep. And I'm ready to go on my vacation next, so see ya.
All right, boys and girls, go check out all of our wonderful sponsors. Check out Eyesight Drones. You can get 20% off if you email Honker at eyesightdrones.com. Also brought to you by Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Bangtail Whiskey, Goose Creek Retrievers, Gundog Outdoors, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Dirty Duck Coffee, Boss Shot Shells, Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Calls, and Shin Gear Waiters.